Videos like this are made possible by the generous support of patrons like Dennis Klomp. Thanks Dennis, and thank you to Private Division for providing me with an early copy of KSP2. This was not the video I wanted to be releasing today. I've been Kerbal Space Program 2's biggest defender since the day it was announced. Each delay to its release only gave me more confidence that the game was in the right hands, and they were taking all the time they needed to get things right. The announcement of early access and the staggered release of features gained some backlash, but it really didn't faze me. As someone who's played nothing but heavily modded KSP1 for a decade, the first build being a bit light on playable content was not a big deal. In my opinion, all KSP2 needed to do on launch was be a streamlined version of KSP1 with better graphics, accessibility, quality of life features, and, most importantly, performance. All anyone has done since the announcement of KSP2 is highlight how many of its features have already been added to the first game by mods. And despite the obvious false equivalency of that comparison, one thing mods cannot do is optimize the game. KSP1 has famously choppy performance with large rockets due to its poor utilization of system resources. For me, this has always been pretty easily forgivable due to the nature of KSP1's development, but being built from the ground up by experienced game developers, this was the one thing that KSP2 had to get right to come out swinging. It had to provide a rock-solid foundation to build all of its planned features on top. So, did it? No. I booted up the game and decided to see how fast I could throw a rocket together and land on the moon. And here's a summary of how well that went. This feels surreal. I feel like this game has been perpetually a few months away for the past 4 years, which I suppose give me a taste of my own medicine with regard to how you guys feel about my upload schedule, or lack thereof. But here we are. I don't want to do something Apollo style or spend my time on it. I would bet my left flipper that's like the first thing that landed. No, we're going to see if we can just throw together a rocket and land on the moon in 10 minutes. Oh, I should have turned off first time user experience. It's going to give me loads of training tips. No, I don't need these. Go away. Go away. Cool. We got a Mark 1 pod. Are the camera controls the same? Not quite. Oh, yeah. I forgot I just made everything red. Oh, what have I done? We are like proving how much easier and faster it is to actually find stuff, considering that I am trying to build a rocket here disgustingly fast. I should really ease my way into this, but no, we're jumping in head first. The camera controls are slightly different, and I just like 10,000 hours of muscle memory is hard to get rid of. I don't know if there's any auto strut. God knows, that took a while to open. Is there any auto strut? No, not that I can see. Okay, let's do this the old-fashioned way then. What the? That's weird. What? What is going on here? Okay, that's weird. Okay, let's put the struts on one by one because they're being weird. Go on, Jaruki, it's your lucky day. Here we go. On the completely untested boomstick. They'll be fine. Launchpad 1. Boom! Let's go. Let's do it. Pointers. Oh, I really should have turned the tutorial off. Here we go. Yeah. Go away. Throttle up. Where is the throttle? Oh, there's the throttle meter. Cool. There's a countdown. Skip that. Whoa, here we go. I didn't even check that the SES was on. Oh, wowza. I wish I could get rid of this arrow. I'm not gonna lie, the first time user experience is slightly, how do I turn that off? Okay, I don't know. We're just gonna... I don't even know what it was telling me to do. It's just pointing at the rocket and bleeping at me. I'm sure it's fine. Listen to the music! Look at that Space Center. Those of you that are probably wondering why the Space Center looks so aliased, that is because I don't even meet the minimum spec requirements for this game. I know there was a lot of kerfuffle about those spec requirements. My CPU definitely does, but my GPU leaves a lot to be desired. I have a 1070, so with the minimum being a 2060, you can understand I was a little hesitant to boot up the game without upgrading, but I thought, you know what, no, I'm going to review this from everyman. I'm not gonna lie though, this game does already looks pretty beautiful. There's some really noticeable lag spikes if I aim the camera at Kerbal, and then as soon as I look away, it's beautiful. Here are our fuel tanks. But that doesn't show any info about them, so the only way to see how much fuel you have in a tank is to look in the bottom. Okay. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Also, wow, this rocket was built really badly. Performance is a little concerning because this is a tiny rocket. There are not many parts here. If this is what your performance is before you've even added the interstellar travel, the colonies, oh, finally we're at... Okay, perfect. Okay, I do like the little voices and everything. That's cool. A quick save and a quick load did not fix this giant arrow. So I really don't know how to get rid of this, short of reverting the flight and starting again. But wait, no, we're just gonna land. We're gonna land at... Oh, the arrow's here in the map view as well. Great. I don't think this arrow is supposed to be here. I think this is a bug, which is quite irritating. I'm not gonna lie. Can I pin that? Yes, I can. Perfect. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, that's very irritating. And I also can't see my trajectory. Okay, yeah, this whole land on the moon in 10 minutes thing, as long as I'm fighting the game, that's not going to happen. If you don't have the recommended or even the minimum specs, you can relatively comfortably still run the game. And I'm running this at 1440p as well. But looking at Kerbal really chugs the game, so we're just going to be looking at space from now on. Just in case you don't know where to look, the arrow, it's there to remind you. You know, it's actually a visual guide. Can you rotate in time warp? No, you can't. Okay. It was worth checking. I believe you can thrust in time warp now. I wanted to do this first impression with my current hardware, because this is the experience I feel like most people are going to have. But I am upgrading my 1070 to a 3090 this week. Which is going to help a lot with my video editing and everything anyway. Like, it's a long overdue upgrade, but I built the current PC that I have, goodness me, about 4 years ago now, and I built it to play Beyond Kerbal. I built it for KSP1, so it's got a very powerful CPU, but, you know, at the time, what was a very competent GPU, but nothing overly special because, well, KSP1 does not take advantage of GPU resources. But KSP2 really seems to lean on them, so I do wonder if the GPU is actually doing some of the physics calculations. I'm not going to claim to know what's going on under the hood here, but man. Okay, I do like the little indicator that you're actually going to crash. That helps. Okay, so we're entering the sphere of influence, then we're going to crash. I would... Yeah, I don't know if it's a feature or a bug that we're missing the trajectory here. Not a fan of that. I'm going to lean on bug. How do I swap back to... Ah! I was trying to refocus the vehicle and I think I blew it up. You can always be better. Yeah, I mean, you can say that again. Oh, sorry, Jaruki. Wow. Okay, not a fan of that. Not even a "are you sure" button? Really? I guess this didn't go too well, did it? At least the arrow's still here. The arrow's still here to reassure me. It's all okay. This is where you blew your Kerbal up. I guess revert to VAB, maybe let's design a slightly more competent rocket. It's still here! There's no escape from the arrow. You're not allowed to forget where your craft is. It's here! It's here! You see it? Okay, right. Do I have to restart the game? Oh, wow. Oh, and the camera is broken. Main menu? Okay, come on, this has got to do it. Incredible. Wow. This is where the main menu is, just in case you forgot. Look at it. Not the best first impression, I'm not gonna lie. So, I restarted the game, or at least tried to, and it won't start. It seems to have frozen on loading the tips, which is the thing that was giving me the arrow. The arrow is angered. How dare you try and get rid of me? I've angered the almighty arrow. Praise be. Maybe it's the arrow of Apollo. It's an ancient idol. That's appropriate as well. Apollo program, haha. Apollo is actually the new god of KSP2. KSP1 you had the Kraken, or you had the almighty Manly, but no, Apollo himself is the god of the new Kerbal. And he is angered that I discarded his holy arrow and the advice that it gave me. It would have shown me at all times where to find my craft. Look, it's there! It's in the middle of your screen! I cannot close this. Task manager isn't responding. OBS is still working okay. Weirdly. It looks like it's still recording. This is my first half an hour with KSP2. Yeah, it's not going great. I'm not gonna lie. I had to restart my PC by turning off the power. Just plug socket off and on again. And I've restarted the game and straight up cannot launch the game. I can't boot it up. My sort of fun plan of, let's race to the moon and see if we can land on the moon and as fast as possible has sort of gone out the window. It's a video I did. It's not going to work now because you can only have a first time once. I've now gone and looked at some of the ESA stuff. And I was right. Loun did build an Apollo style thing. So I called that. But watching some of that gameplay to see if other people had similar issues, and the game is chugging on cutting edge hardware machines, and I just don't think that is an acceptable state to launch the game. I think launching the game in an absolute bare bones state but it running well is completely acceptable, but I can't even launch the game. I've since tried everything I can think of, verifying the game files, reinstalling the game, restarting my computer. The game is literally unplayable. Now I know exactly what you're thinking. This must simply be a pre-release bug that'll be patched out by now. You are playing with a GPU slightly below the minimum recommended specs, you only played for 15 minutes. This isn't a fair assessment of the game. But thankfully, I have a friend. So what's that? Oh, I don't have any friends. Thankfully, I have a work acquaintance with the recommended PC specs who was able to get the game running for a few hours, and here was his opinion.
I've probably been on it for a couple of hours today, maybe about 4 hours yesterday, and it's not good. It really isn't. You said unplayable. I would probably agree.
I can't even play it. So, like, the definition of unplayable, I feel like I've hit the nail on the head even more accurately than you. Giant arrow, I'm like, okay, I'll restart the game. And now
I've seen parts of that happen when I've gone from the VAB to the training center, like parts that you can pull apart in the VAB are still on screen when you're in the training center. You know how they said that they've killed the Kraken?
Apollo killed the Kraken and replaced him. You freed us! I wouldn't say freed, more like under new management.
I think the sound design and music is amazing.
From what I've heard of the sound design, it is incredible, yeah. And it all has adaptive music as well, which I think is really amazing. It has its own soundtrack. The sound of the rockets, incredible. I mean, the graphics themselves as well, it looks beautiful.
See, I'm on my 3070 and I only really experience lag when I'm looking back at the Space Center maybe about 2 minutes after I've launched.
People were playing on the cutting edge of hardware at ESA, right? And they build a rocket over like 50 parts and the game is struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just not acceptable.
See, I don't know how they can even manage to fly a rocket over 50 parts, because I've currently got it open right now and I'm trying to fly a Juno mission, but every time I launch it, because the wobble is probably about, no exaggeration here, maybe like 2 to 3 times worse than KSP1, with no auto strut and no way of fixing that. I've literally put about 30 struts all over the rocket, connecting different bits, and it still is nigh on uncontrollable because it's too big. It just flops all over the place and for some reason randomly explodes It's really, really, really not in a good state.
At least you can play it. I can't even start the game.
My video's gonna be brutal.
It's heartbreaking. I was already planning like the video title. KSP2 is amazing, but, and just like give some caveats. But instead, this is going to be, I'm not playing this game. I can't play this game. I was not impatient. I just wanted it to be right. And it's not. And I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed.
I think if they release it in its current state on Friday, they're going to have mass refunds.
It's one thing for an early access game to launch and not have much content. Everyone expects that, or to have a few bugs. For it to literally be unplayable when the first game is feature complete right there, people are just gonna go back to the first game. I mean, we were planning to continue playing the first game anyway, which is why all of these videos on YouTube of people being like, farewell KSP, my last ever mission in KSP. That's a bit premature to say that. Like, it hasn't come out yet.
My declaration was a little bit different in the fact it's the last time I'd be playing in the stock system.
Oh, okay, I see. You had a solicitor write your script, did you? So I couldn't call you out. If I'd spent 50 quid on this, and I was going to spend 50 quid on this until surprise email, I would not be a happy penguin. I would be absolutely livid. Like, this would be refunded.
I am able to play it, and I find it pretty much unplayable. There is so much missing from it that stock KSP1 has. Not even things like, you know, the breaking ground robotics parts or anything like that. Just simple quality of life things that stock KSP1 has that KSP2 does not. Like, trying to do an encounter with another planet is nigh on impossible.
On watching some of the ESA stuff, apparently that is a bug.
Okay, that's good.
It's not intentional. You're not supposed to not be able to see your trajectory. But even then, like, they knew that was a bug at ESA, and we have it, what, a couple weeks later? This is 3 days until launch.
That's probably not going to get patched in time.
I really hope I'm wrong. I know N9's doing a 24-hour stream. I hope people go and they watch that and they see what state the game is in when it does launch, because it will undoubtedly have some patches over the version that we have. But it's not a good sign, is it?
No.
How are you going to build the whole rest of the game on top of this?
If you can't even launch a 50-part craft, how the hell are you going to make some of those massive space stations, colonies that we saw in the trailer? Like, how is that going to be possible?
I can forgive so much of KSP1. All the memory leak problems and everything. It wasn't built from the ground up, and it wasn't even built by a game development studio. So the whole, it's released broken, but no, don't worry, we'll fix it later. This should be the first thing that they did. Optimization, optimization, optimization. First and foremost, the game just had to run really, really well. And so ask 50 quid for this is a joke.
I think I might be okay if I spent like £15 on it. Like 15.
I can already see like so many comments. I expected it to not be feature complete and be a bit buggy. Like, that's fine. I wasn't expecting it to be a complete game, obviously. I was expecting it to be playable. There's buggy and there's buggy, right?
Quick saves aren't even working properly in KSP2 at the moment. They're just not saving. No, I encounter bugs and I go back, the game crashes, I reload it up, and I'm about an hour back, even after having saved. It has to be fun, I think.
Yeah.
And it's not.
So KSP2 has some serious problems to be fixed before it's fun or even possible to play. I'm very hopeful that the developers will be able to fix them, but it needs a lot of work, and as such I don't see myself playing it, let alone departing the first game, for quite some time. I'll be sure to revisit it when things improve, but for now, Kerbal Space Program 2 is not worth the asking price, and I can't recommend it. A massive thank you to my patrons and donators for their generous support, and an extra special thank you to The Amazing Steak, Dakota Clark, Olaf Hammerhand, Lady Lagsalot, Madzor, Peter Lushtinets, Dennis Klomp, Simone67, Scott Milligan, Jesse Smith, NX74656, Beastie, Elmac, Starch, and Jordan Millwood.